What is up, everybody? We are Cinema 3D, and today we are going to be talking about Christopher Nolan's latest film entry, Oppenheimer. So, Oppenheimer. We just saw it.
Oppenheimer.
That was weird.
What's going on? What's going on here, man? Holy crap.
Yes, we just finished a 3-hour movie in theaters.
Oh, yes.
Called Oppenheimer, and needless to say, I am at a loss of words of even how to begin to describe this movie.
Yes.
There is a lot to unpack. 3 hours worth, as a matter of fact.
Yep.
And years of a man's life.
Yeah, literally.
So we have no idea what any of us thought of the film. Not in the slightest. We didn't talk about it at all.
But we watched it together.
We
watched it together.
We watched it together, and we've been saving our initial reactions till right now.
Because we want to hear everybody else's reactions the same as you guys hearing it for the first time.
Yes. Yep. This is all natural.
It's all natural.
Organic, baby.
Yes. I don't know where that came from, baby.
So, I think the best course of action would be to go over to John on the field.
Why is it always me? Why is it always me? No, actually, now I'm feeling offended. Now it's got to be me.
Well, he's okay. When has he ever gone first?
I don't know.
I mean, I ever go first.
The first shall be last, and the last shall be first.
That is
So then does that mean he's first?
Initial thoughts? Like, do you want to start?
I think I can start.
All right. So we're gonna go over to John on the field. John.
Unless you want to do rock, paper, scissors, shoot and see who's first.
No, I will chime in though. Not the last one. I will try to chime in.
Try to chime in.
You'll try to talk.
Yeah,
good.
Before to not leave you guys in complete suspense as I did with Indiana Jones.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay.
Classic movie.
Like Sam said, there's so much to unpack from this movie. First and foremost, it is epic.
Yes.
And epic in a grand scale, but also at the same time low key.
Mm-hmm.
That makes any sense? The overall idea, the overall mission is epic, and the overall invention is epic, but everything else is a little bit more low key and just involves a couple of characters.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Overall, I really, really enjoyed this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was just superb, and another knockout for Christopher Nolan. I thought overall the film is just beautifully. It is a visual extravaganza.
Yeah.
Every single frame is shot and composed beautifully. The direction is pin sharp. I feel like when we were watching it, you feel like Nolan had something to say almost instantly.
Yeah.
And you can tell that he is confident in what he's wanting to say and what he's wanting to show us. I think the acting was superb as well. Cillian Murphy as Robert J. Oppenheimer is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if he isn't nominated for an Academy Award.
It better be at least nominated.
I would love if he's nominated for an Oscar, but if he's not, at least an Academy Award, I'll be shocked. Yeah, Cillian Murphy, Robert Downey Jr. bringing in an awesome performance as well.
Yep.
A shocking performance too.
Yeah.
But then what's great, and Matt Damon as well, but what's great is that you see a lot of familiar character actors that are all in this movie, like Josh Hartnett. You have, who else? Josh Peck.
Josh Peck.
Peck out of all, like, what in the world?
And,
but like,
limited time in the film, but effective.
Yes, I would say so.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, man. Jason Clarke had a lot more time than I thought he would.
As well, and Gary Oldman and Emily Blunt giving a great performance. They all gave great performances. You can tell that they all wanted to be in a Christopher Nolan movie.
Yes,
Christopher Nolan film.
Especially Jack Quaid.
Especially Jack Quaid. Yeah, it was great to see. It was great to see him with his bongos for some weird reason. Yeah, it's hilarious. It's literally your spirit animal. But yeah, I mean, we just got done watching it, so it's really hard
It's hard to formulate all thought on it.
What's great is that because Nolan he knew what he wanted to say and had something to say. It makes you think.
Yes, it does.
And it makes you understand it makes you understand the mind of the creator, the father, if you will, of the atomic bomb, the H bomb, or the father of the nuclear warfare. And you see him in his downward spiral of being way too ambitious and way too into the science, and then after it's created and it's used, you see his complete downfall.
Yep.
And he's like, what did I do? And Cillian Murphy did that beautifully.
Yes, he did.
And Nolan presented that beautifully. He did not pull any punches.
No.
And keep in mind, he's not really an American, Nolan.
No.
He's not an American. So like, that was interesting to see from his perspective. But I see it though, because he didn't pull any punches, and it does make you really question, especially from the times. Like, thank God I was not around those times, because it was nothing but conspiracy and just being scared of atomic bombing and of conspiracy of spies and all this craziness. And for better for worse, if it's people from our government or even people just regular neighbors, they were all just in this weird, they were just crazy. It was borderline crazy and just fearful. And you see what fear does to people, what fear can do to a country who are united, which is great, but can sometimes be a bad thing. I'm not saying patriotism, I don't want to get political, but I'm not saying patriotism is a bad thing, but sometimes, if misguided, could turn into this. However, at the same time, this subject is always a problem, because if America didn't do it, the Nazis would have done it.
Yeah.
Right.
Or Russia. So it was
bound to happen eventually.
The conundrum
yes.
of the 20th century.
Yeah. No, literally. And it's always a struggle to kind of talk about that, because obviously nobody should have done it, but one country would have done it beforehand and could. And what if America was bombed? Obviously we don't want that. You can't just, those are interesting questions and topics to talk about, but you obviously also can't just be black and white. There has to be a gray area for sure. But yeah, I mean, it was just very powerful, man, and really had me thinking a heck of a lot after watching the film. And I felt there was so much, like, after the bomb is created and you see, like, after that, the last 40 minutes to an hour, it's just crazy, jumping from year to year of what this did to Oppenheimer and what this did to America. And I just feel like that was handled so beautifully. Overall, the lead up to the creation of the bomb was very interesting. Some of it, I will admit, I'm not a physicist. I'm not into physics, so some of it was kind of like, wait, what? But the excitement of Oppenheimer and the scientists of really trying to get this done, it's almost like you were there with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're like, I don't know what's going on. I feel like some of the military or some of the generals or whatnot, where they're like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm here and I am interested. And yeah, I mean, I was hooked. I will say, for me, the first act was a little slow. I would say the first 20 minutes was like, all right, when are we gonna start going? Once he officially signed on to be the leader of the Manhattan Project and creation of the bomb, I was hooked. But I won't lie, the first 20 minutes, I'm like, oh man, it's kind of dragging a little bit. I don't really agree with people saying that after when you're really into it, as the film progresses into it, you kind of feel that runtime. I didn't feel the runtime once Oppenheimer is given the job to be the leader for the Manhattan Project. For me, it was just the first 20 minutes, which, you know, can hook you or not or whatever. But for me, I was hooked after. But that's kind of a minor nitpick, because it was still good, but it took a minute to get going. Other than that, though, the sound design is always stellar in a Chris Nolan film. You got to see an IMAX with the best sound, because absolutely, holy crap, it knocks your socks off, and it's like, wow. I will admit, and I know this has been a criticism for Chris Nolan's films. I have to bring it up, because there were some times, and I cannot be the only one alone with this. It's not as bad as people are thinking.
Yeah, it's nowhere near as bad.
It's nowhere near as bad. But there were times where I'm just kind of like, thank God that film is visual storytelling, so even if you miss something, you see it through the visuals and you get it. But like, I also want to hear some of those things. So there's a couple of times where they go from high and then they start mumbling, or the other audio, the music, and the other sound design gets overwhelming, and you want to really hear. I don't think it's as bad as people are thinking, but that is something to be addressed for sure. I'm interested to see why he does this. He's done it for a couple of his films now, so I'm just curious to see why, if it's something that he wants to do, or if it's something that is, I don't know, missed. I mean, it can't be missed. It's been done in multiple films. Right. I don't know if he's trying to get you engaged.
Yeah,
but
this one felt the best use of that, because he's done it in Interstellar and he's done it in Tenet, and Tenet is the worst because it doesn't feel like it should be there. It feels like it's just an error.
No.
Interstellar is the music that like really takes center stage, which I could buy it. This one, it did feel like whenever that happened, it was because it was a moment where you were like getting inside his head.
Sure.
And like you were with him and he was just not even focusing on anything happening around him.
Yeah, it was for sure. I think that since this is a visual medium, if you're gonna do that, then you remember like whenever you're really getting into his head and the background starts shaking and stuff like that. I think cool. It was cool. I think if you're gonna go that route, then actually use that again. I know that's more of that's very blatant. Yeah, but when some of your audience is kind of like, what was going on there? That is a little bit of a problem. Like, go to that. And it's like, if you're gonna go with that, you're really in there and you're trying, and it's in his head, and you're just trying to figure out what the heck's going on, trying to piece everything together, because he's got so many different things happening, so many different scientists' opinions and the conspiracies and his normal life and all this crap happening, and the weight of the world on his shoulders. That's fine, but really bring that into flourishing a little bit more and make that a little more prevalent. I will say it's not as bad. You get used to it, and then it's totally fine. Tenet is the worst one for that, though. I think sometimes Tenet is just noise, in my opinion. But this film, just go into that and really just prepare yourself to just listen. Really pay attention, and you don't want to miss anything, because if you do, you'll get lost. But what's great is that it's still a visual medium, it's still visual storytelling. You'll get right back on it like I did. And then honestly, that was only like a couple of times in Act 2. Other than that, I was totally fine. But it has been a thing. I don't want to say it's an issue, for Nolan, but it has been a semi-complaint from me, from a couple people. Probably a little bit more than what you really need, honestly, because just pay attention. But if it is I'll say that, but if it is an ongoing thing, it needs to be addressed, or at least like back it up or talk about it. Like I think Nolan does need to kind of address why, because after that it'll be after that I'll get it. But like, but the cinematography, the IMAX, you have to see this film in IMAX. The director of photography, Hoyt van Hoytema, his cinematography in this is just beautiful. And the fact that he used IMAX cameras for not only big vistas but sometimes for really intimate stuff is phenomenal.
Yes.
I do need to really figure out though. You notice how the aspect ratio kept going from IMAX to 35 millimeter. I think this is the most IMAX for that was used for a film. I don't think it's everything, unless Nolan wanted to crop the images to 235 to 1 CinemaScope. I don't think that's the case though. He wouldn't have done that.
He said all of it was shot in IMAX, so I don't know why. And it was like a slight thing.
It was. Well, I will say this is probably the first film that I'm like, I don't notice. It's not distracting when it goes from IMAX to widescreen.
Couple times.
Couple of times it was like that, but it's honestly, I've seen some films like Michael Bay's Transformers or even past Nolan films like even The Dark Knight and stuff like that, which is beautiful, but you can tell when it's going from 35 millimeter to 70 millimeter IMAX. This one wasn't as jarring to me.
Right.
But I don't know if it's just, I don't know what the deal with that is. If it is shot on IMAX, awesome. And it looks like it was. I just gotta that was a little bit weird.
Yeah.
But I won't lie though. Like, it is just so beautiful, man. Like, you'll never, I'm sorry, but we could mimic that with digital, but you can't get it perfectly like film, like celluloid, and every inch of this film is beautiful. Even the black and white stuff, even the black and white shots are so sharp and so beautiful. It's just amazing. And the music was really good as well. What's his name? Ludwig
Göransson.
Yeah, he did the Mandalorian and Tenet and Black Panther.
Black Panther 2.
Great composer. I think he did a good job with this. It definitely services the film. Not one that I would necessarily listen to a lot on my downtime. I think Tenet's is a little bit. I think his work on Tenet's better, but this, I won't lie though, this music did serve the film and really added to the atmosphere. But yeah, overall, it left a lasting impression on me. I think it's monumental. Especially, people got to realize this is not an original piece. Nolan has done original pieces all these years. The only one he hadn't done one on was Insomnia. Insomnia was a previously written script, and it was a remake, and he took upon himself to do it, and of course he crushed it. But after that, he wanted to do his own films. So I was kind of excited to have Nolan take on an actual person's life and an actual based on a book as well, from showcasing the life of Robert Oppenheimer. And it was great to see because I don't know, I love, this was a great, because Nolan has given us crazy spectacle thrillers with action and stuff like that. There was no action in this movie, and if you're expecting action, wrong movie for you to watch. It is not action whatsoever. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, man, I'm still trying to process this movie, and I got to take some time to think about it more. But overall, it was an experience, that I'll remember.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very nicely done, John.
You're very welcome,
Couldn't say it
Sam.
myself.
You're probably right.
Said it better myself.
You're probably right.
So, Justin, are we saving you for last?
That's up to you.
Your thoughts on the film? Unless you're ready.
Let's save you for last this time.
Let's do it. I'm okay
I think last time we went like rock, paper, scissors.
Oh, we can do that again then. Oh.
You're going first.
Yep.
Oh, it means I'm going first.
Yeah.
That happened again last time.
Yeah, no, take it.
Okay.
This is not scripted, guys.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
This is
your
live.
turn. No.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, think about that.
Live?
Live. To
Don't
us.
to us. Not to them.
No, not to them.
Don't kid yourself.
Oh, yeah. It was yeah, I agree with you on the experience thing. I mean, I feel like every Nolan film we've seen in the theater, you come home and you're kind of drained.
Yeah.
emotionally and physically.
Yeah.
Most often it's because it was a really good movie and a great experience, and that's the exact case with this one. I think that Cillian Murphy and Downey are definitely, I mean, as I expected going in, they're the freaking amazing. I honestly don't even, I think Cillian had more screen time, but Robert Downey's scenes just hit so hard, especially towards the end.
Oh yeah.
Like I didn't really know much about his character coming in. I thought he wasn't going to be in it that much because there's one shot of him in the trailer.
Yeah, literally just the one of him looking with
He's like,
approval. Yeah, there it is.
So I thought he was just going to be, you know, like a one courtroom scene.
I 100% thought it was the courtroom scene.
Yeah.
That was it.
And it was like, no, this is like, he's throughout the entire movie.
Him, your trinity, if you will, of
Nice.
of leads here in this film are gonna be Cillian Murphy, Robert Downey Jr., and Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
I would agree.
Matt Damon was great too. Jason Clarke was great. Emily Blunt spent a lot of time in the background, but
Very shocking.
Yeah.
But I think that was done on purpose. But make no mistake though, when she's on screen, you feel that character's just distraught and just like sadness and just anger and his frustration. Like she did a great job. She should not be understated. Like she did a great job too.
Absolutely.
I think what's interesting about this one compared to his other films is, I mean, taking away the Dark Knight trilogy, because that just has a huge cast of, or a huge stack of characters. But his other films, I feel like this one, I could just buy into like all of these characters, you know, like even the ones that we spend less time with, they all feel fleshed out, even though they're not built up that much. Like the smaller ones, like the Josh Peck, the Jack Quaid, you just feel like a sense of camaraderie and like we're gonna do this together. And even with the people who aren't known actors, but you see them with those actors, and it just felt good to see something like that, because I hadn't really experienced that before.
100%. I agree.
But yeah, it's yet again, man, I feel like it's just Nolan films. It's hard to, especially on a first viewing, hard to talk about them completely.
It is.
I do need to watch this again. Long freaking movie. I did not feel what?
You're gonna try to watch it again pretty soon, or you're gonna like take some time, or what's going on with that?
Probably take some time, but in order to like, I just want to see how I feel after a second viewing. But I didn't feel the runtime. Like it felt like it could have been just a 2 hour 20, 2 hour 30. Like the only reason towards the end I started thinking about the time was because I was hungry. That was it.
I was gonna save it until I went, but I might as well just say it right now. Not once.
Wow.
I did not feel that runtime.
Dude, there was a huge chunk of time where I was sitting there like this,
dude.
And I feel like it ended up being a 30-minute like sequence where I was just like this.
That was great though. I think you could feel that in the entire audience. We were all just like locked in, and I saw you locked in, and you with your big ass thing of popcorn and shit. You're just like
no, like the classic
into it, dude. But in a different way. You're just like it was suspense in a different way, and we were all into it, which was nice.
Yeah, that was the thing that got me, was I didn't realize how much on the edge of my seat I was gonna be with a movie like this, because I knew there was gonna be some intense sequences, but there was long portions where I was just sitting there like I don't know what's gonna happen. And I'm kind of a little bit nervous right now, especially with the sound design that was done so well, and the visuals. Like the editing on this was phenomenal, because like all the little flashes, but they're on just long enough for you to get it.
Oh, that's beautiful too.
And the mind stuff with him, where he's trying to just drown everyone else out, but then when he's thinking, like the blueprint per se, you see those like bombs go off, but it's all in his mind. And then like towards the end, spoilers I guess, but towards the end, like that whole ending sequence was so like, it was inspiring as a viewer and like a creative, because like I would have never thought to do something like that, but the way it ends is not like, it's just in his mind.
Yes, but it's that's Nolan with a powerful statement.
Yes.
And that's a very bold choice, and I love every second of it. But it does have a little it's definitely if you think you were anti-nuclear before watching this movie, you will now. I can tell you that 100%. If you don't, there's something wrong with you.
This is not, I mean, it's honestly not a movie for faint of heart, I would say.
I would agree.
Not because it's gruesome or anything like that. It's just the topic and what happens.
Be ready for the intensity.
I'm glad you said that though, because it's not really that much of a spoiler, even though we shouldn't worry about spoilers. No. But when they're recapping and showing photos of what happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, notice how you don't cut to the actual photos. Number one, because I don't think it would be tasteful. You would almost be glorifying it to a certain degree, even though I know Nolan wouldn't. But that's people's perception would be like that. You just hear it's similar to Silence of the Lambs, or even sometimes with Seven, where just your mind is worse than showing. And when that person is going through the slides of the pictures, and that person is showing and it's describing everything, and you see, and it's just the camera's just pushing in, dialing in on just like, pushing on Oppenheimer. It's not just Oppenheimer who looks down, it's everybody else. That's tastefully and masterfully done.
Yeah,
I agree.
So many decisions on this movie that are amazing. The visuals, top notch as we expected, and still somehow manages to exceed what we expected. The color sequences were lit to perfection. I remember my one favorite shot is when he's about to walk to the office right before Casey Affleck's character comes on. Casey Affleck, great. And he was starting to look like Ben Affleck.
Oh, I know.
But that one shot right when he's about to come in, where the light's coming through the window, print that. I want that as a poster right there.
Oh yeah,
like
add it to the wall.
Like that's just neo-noir in that color sequence. That just looks so good. But I mean, I thought it was a great time. The topic is super heavy, and we all walked out like kind of just
like
yes, that's the thing, is that you're not gonna walk out being like that was a jolly good time. It's not. But honestly though, we've gotten so many of trying to be a jolly good time and having a fun time in the theater. I think it's time we needed something that hits you in the head and it's like, all right, deal with this.
This is like, it's like a lesson.
What did we do when we embarked?
On the way home?
Yes.
We listened to like a 26-minute Oppenheimer's life from a great YouTube channel that we just found. But that was even more eye-opening.
And it's incredible that, think about that, is everyone in the car with us, we were all engaged within that video that we put on, because this movie made you hungry for more information on this. And not saying the movie didn't deliver, but it just, with the way the story was told, it sparked that interest to know more, and it got your mind going.
I would agree.
That's power to film.
Yes, it is.
And the things that video said, like Oppenheimer was almost his worst enemy himself. Which is like, everyone can, kind of, you feel that too, because we all let stuff go and think we can't achieve our own, wants and needs. But
absolutely,
what could have been if he didn't, go down that path? I mean, eventually someone was going to do it. It just was Oppenheimer.
Exactly.
And I think that this movie portrays that extremely well. Like, Nolan did complete justice to all the stuff that we know now, listening to that extra YouTube video, and also just classic Oppenheimer from history class. I think it was just a film that if you're a Nolan lover, you're gonna probably really like this movie. And if you're just an average moviegoer, might be a little bit harder. But if you love the craft of cinema, I think you'll also have a good time.
There you go.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think I'm really interested to see what you got to say.
Yes.
I kind of agree with you on the music. I thought it was well done for what the movie needed. There's that one track that towards the beginning of the film, Can You Hear the Music? It's my favorite one, like with all the violins. I think that set up the film perfectly with the intensity and the stress level. Like immediately I'm like, oh, this is going to be a ride. Yeah. But I do think Tenet is better. Not saying this one's bad, but Ludwig's, 2 for 2 on pretty good scores. So I'm interested to see what he does with Nolan in the future. Because I watched that, I don't remember where I saw it, but I know Nolan's like, I'm not done making films. I'm going on for 10, 20 more years. So
I love that.
That is great.
he's got some more stories to tell,
That's
and one of
awesome.
them could be Star Wars.
Oh,
I think it'll be a James Bond film before anything.
That one too.
yeah.
I would love that. And he loves James Bond and said it would be an honor. However, he doesn't realize that there would be constraints because that's a character that's been done.
Can't go as full blast as he might want to go.
Exactly.
Yeah. But no, I do think that you hit it perfectly with, if you're a Nolan fan, you'll love it. If you are a casual moviegoer, yes, it might be hard.
It depends what type of casual you are.
It
Like,
depends on what type of casual you are.
if you're like I go to the movies for a fun time with my friends, I don't know. But if you're a casual movie lover where, you watch a lot of the popular movies that are recommended on lists and YouTube and stuff, I feel like you'll have a better chance to like this one.
100%.
Or if you just love history, like there's a huge fan base of biopics and documentaries. Like I guarantee a lot of people like that are just going to go see this movie too.
Yeah, I would agree.
But
All right.
there are many things I love in this world. I love ice cream.
A driver.
Here we go.
I
Here we go.
I love the Beatles. I love history,
That's true.
and I love film.
Ice cream, the Beatles, history, and film.
Yeah.
Not your girlfriend.
And I love my girlfriend, who I showed Star Wars to, which is film and
Yeah.
historically significant.
Wow. Shameless plug-in for another video.
And afterwards,
Love it.
we went to get ice cream.
Wow.
Listening to Here Comes the Sun.
Look at that.
The Beatles.
It all comes
While you
full
talked about
circle.
the history of their albums.
It all comes full circle. Look at that. Well done.
The last
You're
part was embellished, I have to admit. I don't know if we got the ice cream. But I love history and I love film. So this movie captivated me from start to finish. I knew about Oppenheimer, but I didn't know what I know now from this movie. And I was blessed that the video we looked up was able to confirm so much that this movie did right. I'm sure there are liberties that were taken. There always are. And that's okay. Because as we said last week, as long as the heart and the thesis of the story is there, those liberties are fine to be taken because it's the message you're trying to convey.
Oh boy, was it there.
Yeah. And that's exactly what you said in yours. The point he was trying to make was made, and it really comes down to how well do you convey your point. If you're a salesman, how well are you getting to what you're trying to say? And if Chris Nolan is a salesman trying to pitch a particular view on certain world events and on the way history has unraveled, he sold his point.
Yeah.
That's what I believe.
100%.
And that is one of the biggest takeaways I got from this movie. Definitely made you think. Definitely made me almost want to pick up the book and start reading. You know?
It leaves you with a lot of questions and intriguing, like
A lot of
type of film.
a lot of questions of what would have happened if it did or didn't happen, and where would the world be today.
Yeah.
And also, of course, raising the big question of war and who ultimately is affected by it. Not saying really any view, but it gives you those.
No,
It
no, I
gives
mean,
you those questions to ask.
war is hell.
War is hell.
And we see what happens when we're at war.
No, in the film, while he is making a point, it does play both sides too, because it shows exactly how it is to be on the receiving end and on the giving end and on the making end. Like there's 3 different fronts presented in this film, and it just adds those extra layers to make you think so much more.
You have, yes. I mean,
Like,
everybody has a question to ask in the film. And yeah, no, it's like, this is a very weak example, but it's the first one that comes to mind. Civil War.
yeah.
Because, probably because we just watched Downey.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Screen for, I'm also looking at it. But no, again, I don't have an answer in that film.
Right.
And this one, I do have more of an answer of how, of how things, popcorn.
Colonel Sanders stuck.
Chicken.
The risk of going to the theater.
Oh, we got that.
I do have an answer of how things probably could have gone down, but the point is, it wasn't easy then, and it's not easy now. It's big ethical questions, and that's what this movie did, and it wasn't afraid to do those things. So yeah, right off the bat, you're doing well. You're doing well the film. If I can have that type of discussion after, then it's great. And pretty much anybody who you watch it with, you're hoping that you can be able to have that follow-up discussion after and enlighten yourself, you know, to not be blind to things. And that was a mega strength of the film. Another one was sound design.
Yeah.
We're going a completely different route. I've never been in a theater and experienced that.
Bro,
that level.
Talking about chest bumping.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
it wasn't.
yeah,
That's the, I guess, the good part about sitting in the back row is you feel everything.
You do. And I mean, when the film first opens, you automatically know what you're going to expect for the sound design. If you don't like it, if you don't like the sound design, as soon as the film starts, then I don't know what to tell you, because it lets you know what you're in for.
Yeah.
Didn't feel the runtime at all. 3 hours flew by, and I'm sure people will say they did, but I don't know how, because to me, there was not a dull scene.
It's a long movie, but it's fast. Like, that's weird.
It is, yeah. I would agree.
Similar, you know, we don't get to the atomic bomb fast. I love that.
Right. Yeah.
It's like Jurassic Park, you know, we don't get to the dinosaur until it's needed.
Yeah.
Slow build. I'm a fan of the slow build.
Yeah.
If it's done right. If it's dragged out, then no. But if you're telling a story and you're taking the time to not rush it for the importance of that delivery, then it's great. And this movie delivered once we got to that point, because it felt like an event.
It did.
You got nervous watching it happen.
That was that whole sequence where I was on the edge, just like.
And how crazy is though too is that, like, we all three of us, when the bomb does go off, you're thinking it's automatically gonna be a kaboom, big boom, but it wasn't, and that was realistic, because they were far away from the actual bomb. It's only when finally the wave
I appreciated that.
gets you, and it's like boom, and it hits, like, whoa. That was great. That was realistic, like crazy, and I applaud them for that. That's beautiful sound design, and the realism there, amazing.
It made you feel like you were in the film.
Yes, it did.
Bombs just right when it blows up. It's like, it's fine. It is a movie, but like this one just added that extra layer of realism, which Nolan does. And
Yeah.
that's why he's Nolan.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, the sound design is
It was fantastic.
top notch.
And to me, the pacing was amazing.
Yeah.
And those 3 performances, all outstanding. Cillian Murphy just like knocked it out of the park.
Oh,
my
boy,
God.
did he.
I felt
There's
every emotion. Like,
There's so much emotion in just his 2 eyes.
yes,
Like,
100%.
It's crazy.
The facial acting there is outstanding.
Oh, I know.
Dear God, like, talk about telling a story just with a look. Oh my God. And that's attributed to both him and Christopher Nolan. But it worked. And it was
Phenomenal.
definitely certain scenes you didn't need words.
I know, and I love that. It's so good.
Spoke.
Yes.
Downey, incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looks like he did in Endgame when he first comes back and he's all
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
kind of skinny looking. And you know, I mean, the guy just never misses.
No,
He
does
always,
not.
no matter what he does, he will captivate you.
And it's interesting too with what he's playing. I didn't think he was gonna play. And granted, you know, I knew the story of Oppenheimer. I didn't know all the intricate details.
Yeah.
And he's and Downey Jr. is playing a significant person that tried to destroy Oppenheimer. And I didn't think he was gonna be almost like a villain, pretty much.
I know.
But almost like not a misguided man who is just nothing but just jealousy like no other, and wants to ruin Oppenheimer because of what he thought Oppenheimer felt about him, which is not even accurate at all. And he will not submit to that, and he's gonna go down with thinking this. And it's just like, he's also patriotic too, but a misguided form of patriotism like no other. But it's not just patriotism, it's also this hatred of Oppenheimer for no reason, honestly. No reason at all.
And adding to that, I think obviously Downey is way better, but I think Alden Ehrenreich interaction with Downey was actually really cool.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
they played well
yeah.
off each other.
I would agree that was great, man. Like it's like, yeah, you kind of messed up.
Yeah.
When he gets to do, he's like, oh yeah, you kind of messed up, even though I'm representing
I
you.
didn't have the whole truth. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Beautiful line.
And you know, I should obviously preface that we don't know. We're not experts in the subject. I doubt very few people who go into this movie are. So some of the stuff involving like Robert Downey Jr.'s character and say what Oppenheimer spoke to Einstein about. We don't know if that really happened.
Yeah.
Right,
No
right.
idea. But
Yeah.
in the context of the story, that's our misguidance. And I'm definitely going to dig in and see what was. And you know, I don't always like to do that after watching a biopic, but this one, too interested.
Yeah,
I
would agree.
I got to know the full
That is
story.
very true. It seems more like subjective of what could have been. I think Nolan's trying to be like, well, this is probably what maybe did happen, or was Downey's character more just overly patriotic and just could not stand Oppenheimer, or was it more than that?
Right.
Was it actually him having this grudge, thinking that Oppenheimer hates him or wants to ruin him and turn all these scientists against him?
Yeah.
We don't know. Great, very interesting point.
So I'm interested to find out all these things.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, captivated start to finish. All amazing acting performances. Some of the best I've seen. This is a good transition to go into our overall rankings.
Yep.
I would have to say, are we going to start with our thoughts of this movie in general, giving it our Cinema 3D ranking, or are we going to start with our placement of Christopher Nolan films? I say we start with our overall Cinema 3D ranking,
Okay.
and then Chris Nolan, where it falls, because
Yeah.
I got mine.
Yeah, I'd have to.
I got mine
figure
mentally
out.
figured out.
It's tough, man.
Oh, it's extremely tough, and I should preface and say subject to change.
Yes,
would agree.
huge subject to change on this one,
Yes.
because this is
Once
now my least viewed Nolan film. Technically,
it's tied for first from me.
yeah, I think I've seen Memento once.
Memento and Tenet I've only seen once. Everything else I've seen more than once.
I watched Tenet last night before seeing it.
Of course he did.
Or I finished it, but
I watched Insomnia last week.
I was gonna watch Insomnia, but then I forgot that I hadn't finished Tenet from 3 months ago.
Oh yeah, no, get that done.
So I got it done. This is tough. Wait, we're doing our
gonna start
ranking
with
first.
Just overall Cinema 3D ranking.
I don't know what that was.
I don't know what
That was his Jeff Goldblumism. Oh yeah, you know.
And the ranking.
Ranking, yes.
Ooh, cinema. I say we
tough.
start with Justin.
I agree.
Man.
Yeah, let's finally do it.
Oh,
Let's go Justin, me, you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
this is
I don't
tough.
know. I just say things and it works.
Yes.
It's really tough. See, we got Never Again, Not a Fan, Good Flick, In My Collection, Movie Magic.
To revocalize that, our categories are Never Again, Not a Fan,
Actually,
Never Again, Not a Fan, Good Flick, In My Collection, Movie Magic. I have to think about the last one.
Oh my gosh, I thought you did that for, I thought you did.
why.
Oh, I thought you did that for a dramatic pause.
No, just
Brilliant.
okay. Subject to change.
Subject to change.
I think this definitely In My Collection.
Will make a fine addition to my collection.
Right.
Yes, that's what I'm gonna say. In My Collection.
In My Collection.
Yep.
Which smallest iteration, reiterating on that, it means it is a very great film.
Yeah.
Almost no complaints. It just means that it wouldn't fall necessarily in the top tier of all time for you,
Yes.
which is our Movie Magic.
Yes.
Just to give an idea of what that means.
Yes.
Because it also falls in My Collection as well for me.
Will make a fine addition to my collection.
Yeah.
High ranking.
Very high.
Very high ranking.
Like first one we've officially given.
It is our first official In My Collection film, which is nice to see.
Yeah.
Which also means, well, yeah, officially given.
Officially.
But it also just, I'll state it right now, as of right now, best film of 2023.
100% hands down. I won't shut this year completely down, but I'm very eager to see what film can rival this.
Might only be Scorsese.
Yeah, I forgot about
Could
that
have
already.
the chance.
Be Scorsese, who knows? Who knows, man?
I think there is a couple that are probably going to be really, really good, but
Yes.
I can't think.
I mean,
of
Indiana
them
Jones, when we thought it was great, but it was great in a different way.
Mission Impossible. Haven't seen that one yet.
Possible,
one
that's
yet.
coming. We got to review that for sure. We got to do that one.
So official ranking,
My official ranking is same as you boys. In My Collection,
Will make a fine addition to my collection.
100%.
very good.
It needs to be In My Collection.
Yes,
And it's a great film.
great film. And now to compare with Christopher Nolan's other works, as this is a sequel to our film from our series or show or podcast
Oh,
from last
nice.
Movie.
from
Damn.
last week, where we said we were going to do it, and now we're doing it. Where does Oppenheimer fall within his films?
It's even tougher.
It's a very hard question.
Because now I feel like on my list, it's going to make it seem like I don't like Oppenheimer.
Right.
With where I'm putting it.
I understand that.
But it's just because all of Nolan's films are good.
They're all good.
Like, that's the hard part. If I had to put it,
We're gonna do it as far as the first five, the top five films, right?
or are we
that's
just
that's all I have.
are we just saying where it would land, or are we still just giving our top five?
I would.
Well,
I
that's
would.
true.
I would say. I mean,
Where it would
Where-
land,
where
right?
would-
where it
land.
would land.
Okay,
Yeah.
Among
there's-
his lists, and then whatever's higher.
that works.
Now there's 12 total films with Oppenheimer.
Mm-hmm.
So I would probably put it. I'm gonna put it at number 7.
And then what films were placed ahead?
Right below it is Tenet, and right above it is Dark Knight Rises.
Okay.
So it's like smack dab in the middle.
What other films are ahead? I just want to know.
No, of course you do.
Top 5 pretty much stays the same. So it would go at number 8, Tenet, number 7, Oppenheimer, number 6, Dark Knight Rises, 5, Prestige, 4, Batman Begins, 3, Interstellar, 2, The Dark Knight, and 1, Inception.
Very good. All right. You want to?
Yeah, why not?
All right.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. I put an okie doke on you.
Okie dokie.
Yeah. For me, I think Oppenheimer right now is at number 5.
Very good.
It beat out Insomnia. But Memento, The Dark Knight, Interstellar, and Batman Begins, those all are definitely higher than Oppenheimer. But I really enjoyed this movie, man.
Solid list there. For Sam, which is me, I'm gonna actually have to re-say the same phrase John just said. It is at number 5. It beat out Insomnia.
Whoa, this is amazing.
And we are left with, above it, The Prestige and the Dark Knight trilogy.
Look how easy that was for him.
He got me again. Like the Dark Knight
Yes, exactly.
All three.
Brilliant.
Okay,
Brilliant.
so there's some similarities. You have Rises above it like I do. And then you have Prestige above it like I do.
Yes.
You don't have Prestige above it, right? You have Memento above it.
Neither one of us have Memento above it.
Nope. Man, that makes me feel terrible. I put it so much
Memento's
lower.
above it though.
For you.
For me, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you guys both have it at 5, and I have it at 7. Makes me feel bad.
No. I mean,
Well, here's the thing. If I mean, spoiler, but like
Tenet as well and whatnot.
I did late last night. I went through all my Nolan films and put our Cinema 3D ranking on them. So that's kind of what helped me figure out where Oppenheimer landed. And I don't know how to say it.
I think what we are seeing,
I just had
we
myself done.
could decipher from this. John, yours, I guess, would be a little bit more similar to mine.
It probably would.
Just with the films that are entered in your top 5.
Correct.
With the only difference really being Memento
And Interstellar.
and Interstellar as well. That's right.
Yes.
You are liking his side a little bit more. That is the extreme intensity of Inception, Interstellar,
Dark Knight.
These are the intense films, and I think I found myself liking his. Obviously, Prestige can be a very quiet film,
Yeah.
as well as this one at times can be a very quiet film. Insomnia, all three of those. My love for the Dark Knight trilogy almost shouldn't be in discussion, just because there is some hint of bias there.
Right.
But I'm going off of my own personal enjoyment.
Sure.
And so that's
Exactly.
I have to be honest about it. And that's-
Exactly.
I'll always rewatch the Dark Knight trilogy. But
All done by Chris Nolan.
yeah, it is almost like he has these kind of almost, they all have a Nolan feel,
Yep.
but he definitely has a Chris Nolan drinking tea on set feel, and Chris Nolan blowing shit up, going balls to the wall type feel. But with all the films, they're all intelligent
That's awesome,
and
dude.
incredible films.
That was probably the best comparison ever. Wow. I was not expecting that. Yeah, that's awesome.
Killian, please do the scene.
But make no mistake, I do love Inception. I gotta watch it again.
You do.
I would agree. I also
fair.
would-
I have to watch it again.
I do.
But another thing is too, to make it, I made myself feel better because I took the Dark Knight trilogy out and saw where it would land. So it would actually, Oppenheimer would be number 4.
Yeah.
Like that's a better representation if the Dark Knight trilogy didn't exist, because it's got to be there.
Right.
But as far as his other films, Inception,
Not bad.
Interstellar, Prestige, Oppenheimer.
Yeah, mine would be Prestige, Oppenheimer, Insomnia, Inception,
Interstellar.
Memento.
Dang it. All right.
Of the non-Batman
Yeah.
Chris Nolan films.
Yours.
I
I don't
mean,
think
it-
John has the
I
energy.
mean, right now it's Oppenheimer, Memento, and Interstellar.
Those are the 3 ones
Those
that.
are the 3 from my top 5. That would be on the top 3.
Interstellar would be your favorite non-Batman.
And then
Oh, you went. Okay, I
Yeah,
see.
sci-fi, man.
and then Insomnia would be back in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Oh, yeah.
Insomnia would be back in there as. What was
Inception would be number 5.
Inception? There you go. Okay.
Nah, I mean, it's great.
Be mentioned.
It's great. Oh, yeah.
Hey, it was my number 4. Taking out the
Then I
Dark Knight
think
trilogy.
after
know.
that,
It's great.
let me really like tickle your, yeah.
Yeah.
My fancy.
After Inception would then be.
Are you gonna say it?
I don't think you know what I'm gonna say though.
Wait.
What are you talking about?
Wait, you
For
said,
your number
you said
6
to tickle
non-
my fancy.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, I'm not gonna say that probably. The Prestige.
No. Okay.
Prestige would be 6.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Then it's
Say it.
Dunkirk.
Wow. That flattened my soul.
Then Tenet.
Man,
And he can't deny that either. But for some, I really enjoyed Dunkirk when I watched it in the theater, man.
oh no, I do too.
It's just, and it's
It might have
in
been a
line.
better theater enjoyment.
Nolan's bottom film on my list, I still have as a good flick.
Yes.
My 3 bottom Nolan films are Dunkirk, and then Tenet, and then it's Interstellar. But Interstellar goes to the great level.
Yeah.
So he has great. They're all great.
They're all great. I mean, let's make sure everyone understands that they're all amazing movies.
They are all amazing movies.
All amazing.
Nolan
He
has not made a
No.
Man, you beat me to the
Oh,
punch.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Tenet or Dunkirk were objectively bad. They
No.
just didn't deliver for me the same. And
Right.
might be time for a rewatch. It's been a while, but yeah. So I think we've said all we need to say.
I think we did.
Yeah, and
Go watch it. Please support it.
please
Yeah.
support this film.
Yes,
Please
please
support
get
it.
this to make more money than Barbie.
Yes.
It deserves it.
Whoa.
We don't. We don't know.
It's not going to.
You really just swung
Barbie's
for the
an
fences.
hour and a half shorter. No, Barbie's like almost an hour shorter or something like that. So there's no way.
Yeah.
Probably not. But
And
please
Barbie,
support it.
Probably just fun.
please support it. We hope you guys enjoyed this video. And that's all, folks.
Wow. Freaking brilliant. You did a Porky the Pig mixed with
Just Sam.
just Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man.